Hey everybody, it's Nerdy30. Thanks for joining me again for the second episode of the Graphics Guild. This episode was a little bit unexpected because I frankly did not realize I had this graphics card. The card in question is a AMD Radeon R5 240. I found it hidden amongst a pile of Radeon HD 8490s that I've pulled out of some bulk computers I had. And really the only reason I noticed this card was any different was the color of the display port plug on the graphics card was different than the other cards in the stack. I was pleasantly surprised with the surprising performance of this card, considering it was 1GB of GDDR3 video memory. So please sit back and enjoy episode 2 of the Graphics Guild. So, a new addition to the test bench suite is GPU-Z, which breaks down your graphics card information into way more detail than your average consumer is ever going to want to know. The great part about GPU-Z is if you're unsure what kind of graphics card you have, it'll tell you right there. Here are the system specs for today's test system. It's the same HP Pavilion as the episode 1. First up today is Rocket League. Decided to try something a little different by including the minimum and recommended system specifications at the beginning of each game, so that way if you're curious you can pause it and take note as to see what is required to run the game. Now, I will definitely say that while it looks pretty playable, it was really stuttery, and I definitely felt the limitations of 1GB of VRAM. Next up on the list was Counter-Strike 2. This game really surprised me because according to the system requirements, it shouldn't take very much to run this game at all. Now keep in mind, every game I test was at 1080p resolution, and for the most part the game held a pretty solid 30 FPS. Now, maybe I just need to put more time into this game, but I really did not enjoy this experience. The frames did raise above 30 FPS in some parts, and it was fairly playable. And I think that if you dial in the system specs, maybe a drop in resolution to 900p could definitely bump that FPS up. To me, there was no reason that this card shouldn't have performed a little better. But then that may also have been the difference between using GDDR3 VRAM versus GDDR5 or GDDR6, which is today's current standard. Now, I will say with this game that the stutters were not very bad at all, and none of them were due to my internet. The good news is I finally got my internet issue resolved, and I actually upgraded to 1GB of internet, so hopefully from now on all my gameplay footage will have zero input lag as I massively improve the quality of my internet. Up next, of course, is Fortnite. Fortnite you can pretty much expect to be in almost every video I make because it's such a staple in the computer gaming industry right now. This first section here was in DirectX 11, which is what the computer defaulted to. If you remember from the first episode, I explained how while most people would be playing in performance mode, the goal of the Graphics Guild series is to show the true performance of the graphics card, therefore performance mode is kind of nullified. Now, to be realistic, I do include some footage of the gameplay in performance mode because realistically that's how anybody who's going to be playing on a low-end system is going to be set to get the best FPS. Now here, with DirectX 11 all settings at low, with view distance set to epic, I actually maintained, I would say, 35 to 45 FPS. The counter did kind of jump, and we were up sometimes near the 50 mark, but pretty consistently between that 35 to 40. And it was actually really playable. I was very surprised. I actually won this match that you're watching right now, and it surprised the heck out of me. And so much that I was actually excited to try it in performance mode. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I actually lost in performance mode. So you know, the just goes to show that even a potato graphics card in a cheap budget system can still get you playing in games like Fortnite. The game did not have any issues loading, and obviously areas that have more textures such as buildings, cities, that's when the FPS was down to that 35 to 40 range, and then in open areas like this, you see the FPS climbs above 40 to maybe 45. Overall, I was very, very impressed with the performance of this card. Up next is Performance Mode Fortnite. Same settings for the rest. All settings set to low, view distance set to epic. A few years ago, this used to be called Pro Settings. I don't know if that's still relevant or not. So please comment below and let me know if Pro Settings is still relevant to the world of Fortnite. Today's secret phrase is going to be old timer. So if you've made it to this point in the video, please comment old timer down in the comments. Lets me know you made it this far in. Once again, I really want to thank you for joining me and spending your precious time watching the content I create. It's that motivation that really keeps me motivated to continue to grow the channel and to delve into this technology, because I really do enjoy it. So next to that passphrase, comment your favorite game from that's 10 years old or older. For me, I'd honestly have to say it's old school RuneScape, or what is now old school RuneScape. I started playing it when I was about 12, and my mom was super convinced I was going to kill the family computer with viruses, so I was able to sell her on me playing RuneScape because it's an internet game. I close the internet window and it goes away. I still play RuneScape to this day. I have a Max Combat main on there, and maybe I'll talk about that in later videos. As you can see with the footage here, with performance mode, we were easily able to maintain 55 to 60 FPS with a 120 FPS cap, because I wanted to see where it was at. I'd recommend leaving that frame cap at 60 though. And finally, we have Minecraft. Just be straight up, this was a great experience. I did reduce the render distance, I believe, to like 8 to maybe 10 chunks, something around there, and it was a consistent 60 FPS. I really had no expectations that Minecraft wouldn't play well on this. Now, when you started to get into more involved areas of the map, such as traversing the water or near the edge of the rendered area, I would see a slight drop in FPS down to about the 55 FPS mark, but frankly it didn't affect the performance or the playability at all. So once again, I just wanted to say thank you for taking time to watch my video. I'm really passionate about the idea of the Graphics Guild, and I really hope that this is some motivation that if all you have access to is budget price to performance parts, that you can still play and have a great time. I know that it's so cool to see the latest and greatest $3,000 systems, but frankly you'll probably never see that kind of content on this channel because not everybody has access to $900 processor and motherboard kits and $2,000 graphics cards. So I like to cater to the more realistic approach, and frankly there's more challenge in this to me, and satisfaction of setting a goal of trying to play Fortnite on a graphics card that is considered useless, and it runs well. This graphics card, the R5 240, when I was doing some looking, actually outpaces Intel iGPUs all the way up through like 7th gen Intel. So some people say, oh, old graphics cards are useless, you just use the integrated graphics. This sub $15 graphics card, it is way better than the integrated graphics of an i5 7500, and it's $15, and look at the kind of performance you can get out of it. So once again, thank you for making it to the end of episode 2 of the Graphics Guild. As I said, I always try to change it up a little bit each video until I kind of get into a groove that I like. So here is some footage I just pulled from eBay a week ago. I want to say maybe January 20th, 2024. So if you're watching this in the future, prices may change. The green numbers on eBay indicate the sold listing as what the price of the item sold for. So you can see it's a very, very affordable option if you're just looking for something to get into PC gaming. So once again, my name is Nerdy30 and I really appreciate you spending the time with me. If you're interested in budget computer content, please consider sharing, and subscribing. I'm Nerdy30 and I'm signing out.